So I am Eileen Doherty, and I am the director of the Colorado Gerontological Society. And today we're going to talk about the Low Income Energy Assistance Program, or LEAP. Some of you may have already used this program in prior years. And if you have, that's great. There's not a lot of changes to it this year, but I thought, just in the interest of making sure that people have access to as many resources as possible, that we should at least try to make this information available. So applications for LEAP started on November 1 of 2025, and you can submit until April 30th of 2026. My advice is to at least apply by April 15th. The sooner you apply, the chances are that you will be able to get benefits. One of the things that is new in this year's guidelines is that funding will be available as long as the state has money. So the longer you delay in applying, the longer or the less opportunity you might have to get benefits. It is a federally funded program. LEAP only pays a portion of the winter home heating costs. It does not pay all of it. The monies usually are paid directly to the energy supplier, unless the home heating costs are included in the rent. Now, LEAP also has two other parts of the program. In addition to paying for energy costs, they can help to pay for the or replacement of your primary home heating system, such as a furnace, and they can also help to pay if there are sometimes crisis emergency utility bills. They're very clear that you must have a regulated heating system that is either put in by a third-party supplier, such as Xcel, or if you can prove that you are heating your whole house or some portion of your house, saying using a fireplace with wood, they will pay for that kind of thing. They will not pay for temporary or portable heating, such as space heaters. The way to apply or to be eligible is that you yourself have to be paying home heating costs. The second thing is you have to meet the income guidelines. And third is you have to show proof of lawful presence. So this just happens to be an Xcel bill that I pulled. But the way that you would show that you are paying home heating costs is that if you have Gold or some of the other ones, on this one, if your home is heated with natural gas, you will want to provide them with the number that is here that shows for your natural gas. If you heat with electricity, say electric baseboards, and you don't have gas, or your gas is only, say, a cooking stove, then you'll want to make sure that you report the amount up there in the electricity. Some people do not pay electricity directly, or home heating costs directly. They have it paid as part of their rent. And so this is a rent receipt, not necessarily anything that you need that needs to be this fancy. But if you are paying utilities as part of your rent, so let's just say you're paying $800 a month in rent, and that includes electricity, includes gas, includes water, whatever, then simply make sure that when you submit the documentation to the LEAP office, that either you submit the lease that says that you're paying the utility costs, or you submit the receipt that specifically says that you are paying a portion of that rent is going to utilities. If that is not itemized or broken out by your landlord, LEAP has a formula they will just apply. And either is okay if it's itemized out, as this one would request, or it could be just a percentage. One of my reasons this year for really wanting to make sure that as many people as possible apply for the LEAP program is that the income guidelines are very high compared to many of our other programs. So if you as a single individual make less than $3,607 per month, or as a couple, $4,717 a month. So we're looking at $40,000 to $50,000 a month in income. And if you're making, or I mean, a year, if you're making that kind of income, you can still get help with your utility bills. And the really good benefit of this is that there are no resource requirements. So many times, what we find is that while the income requirements on some of these public benefit programs are very generous, they also have resource requirements. LEAP does not have that. Another thing that I said earlier on is that you have to prove lawful presence. For most people, lawful, hold on here, somebody just is wanting to join. There we go. For most people, lawful presence is just making a copy of your Colorado ID or your driver's license. However, you might also, if you are, if your driver's license or your Colorado ID does not have a star on it, such as the one right here in the upper right-hand corner of this, then you probably need to prove lawful presence in a different way. But that star indicates that you have been vetted by the Colorado Department of Motor Vehicles and the Homeland Security to be in the country legally. If you don't have a star, then you'll want to provide a naturalization certificate, a certificate saying you were born abroad to American parents. You might do a passport, a permanent resident card, or documentation of refugee or asylee status. So, how do you apply? You can apply in two ways. You can either apply through the Peak website, and I have given you that link here. Also, if I send you the uh, slides after the meeting, you can just click on that slide and you can go through the website at Peak and apply. It's a little bit hard to find on the Peak website, but there is a section called Energy, and you click on that. If you already have a Peak account, say you get SNAP benefits or you get Medicaid, then it will be relatively easy to just open up your existing account. And then there's a section that says add benefits. And then you basically click on that and you go to the section on Peak that says energy, and then it will take you through the LEAP application. I did a LEAP application for one of my clients this morning, and it's a very tedious process, but one that you can get through. It's just that every question that is on the paper application pretty much has its own screen in the LEAP application. So there is a lot of just answering one question or maybe two, and then you have to, let it process, hit next, and you just keep going. The other way to apply is to apply with a paper copy. The department does have both English and Spanish copies available. So if English is your first language, great. If Spanish is your first language and you would like to fill the form out in Spanish, you could do that as well. You can download the application from the Healthcare Policy and Financing's website, and I've given you that link as well. This is just the first page, if you will, of the PEAK application. And as you can see, if you already have an account, in the upper right-hand corner, sign in, and then you click on apply for benefits, and it will automatically take you to your account. If you do not get SNAP or Medicaid or any other type of cash benefit, then and you want to do it online, you can create an account, and then you would go through the process that way. And again, like I said, I don't have a dummy application or a dummy client that I can use, so I just provide you the basic information. This is what a paper application looks like, and this is the top half of it. Basically, it says that its purpose is to help people with winter heating costs, but it doesn't pay the entire cost. This is about a 4-page application, as it's set up like a newspaper. So there's actually 8 pages, but a good majority of the beginning is actually just instructions. Once you have filled out the paper application or the online application, one of the things that you want to make sure is that you have answered all the questions. If you're doing the online, it gives you an opportunity to review it. If you're doing the paper one, then check and make sure you've filled out all the boxes. Make sure you enclose a copy of your lawful presence document. You're doing the paper copy. If you're doing a online copy, then you'll need to take a picture of your driver's license or your Colorado ID and upload it. It will ask for social security numbers of all the household members, birth dates, household income for everyone, and it will want like pay stubs and those kinds of things. If you are self-employed, it's also going to want your expenses. It only asks for the most recent heating bill, or if it's included in the rent, the most recent rent receipt. Make sure you sign the application and then either submit online or the paper application. If you do the paper application, as I said, you want to download it from HCPF's website at LEAP. You can do it in English or Spanish. Make sure that you attach all of the documentation, which is basically 3 items. It's your ID, it's your income, and it's proof of your rent, or if you own your own home or your own condo, it then could be your property tax statement. Now, there is some counties process their own LEAP applications, and some use a central processing service. In order to find out which service your county uses, you do need to either click on this list to get the list of where to mail them, or if they use the central processing system, I have given you that link here. And they keep stressing that they need readable copies. If you're online, you simply just hit submit when you get to that point. I believe it will allow you to submit an incomplete application. So again, don't do that because that just delays your ability um, to get services or to get help. Sometimes people who are struggling with paying their utility bills end up with a shut-off notice. And so the department is able to expedite those. And so if you will call this 1-866 Heat Help number, they can go ahead, excuse me, and expedite it. They can also make a contact with your energy provider and let them know that they are processing your application for LEAP. Again, it's not going to pay the total bill, but it might keep the service on. The next section here is kind of a series of questions, if you will. So one of the questions sometimes people say is, can I stop paying my bill if I submit a LEAP application? Absolutely not. It is much better to go ahead and pay this month's bill as well as submit your LEAP application and then get a credit on your next bill from your energy provider so that you will be able to maybe not have to make the payment next month. But never stop paying, because if you do, you will just get behind and there won't be enough money in the LEAP payment to get you caught up. Another question that we often receive is, how much money will I get? And that's a hard number to predict, because the first thing is it depends on the amount of money that LEAP gets from the federal government. The second is that their decision in terms of what an average LEAP payment will be is made on last year's experience, meaning however many people applied. And then the second part of it is what the average payment was last year. The other big variables are the home heating costs themselves. So if I have a relatively large house and I keep my furnace up pretty high, then my electric bill might be pretty high. Again, it's high oftentimes not because you are wanting to waste energy, but because you just are cold. The second thing that or variable that is affected is how many people live in the household. So there is going to be a lower reimbursement, if you will, or a lower LEAP payment if you have one person in the household as opposed to, say, 5. Your income also drives it. So the more or greater proportion of your income that goes for utility and housing costs, the higher your LEAP payment will be. And then, as I said, the last one is how many applications that they actually get. So how does LEAP pay you? So you get your energy from a supplier like Xcel Energy, Black Hills Energy. You are basically not going to see a check. You are going to get a letter from LEAP that says, we have sent X amount of dollars to Black Hills Energy or Xcel or whomever. If you pay your heat as part of your rent, then you will get an amount of cash deposited to your EBT card. If for some reason you don't have an EBT card, this is the same as your food stamp card, could be also, it won't go on your Medicaid card, but it would go on your food stamp card. If for some reason or other you don't have one of those, they probably will make you get one simply to be able to claim those benefits. I don't think they are sending out cash or checks anymore. Another question that people ask is that if you are homeless or couch surfing, can you qualify for LEAP? And the answer is no. You can qualify for some of our other programs again, but not for LEAP. Other resources that might be helpful to you is the Crisis Intervention Program can help with furnace repair, or they can actually put in a new furnace if your current furnace isn't working. And there's the telephone number for that. They will not come in and do furnace cleaning, and maintenance, but they will do a new furnace if yours goes out. Another program that might be helpful is the weatherization program, and they will do things like energy audits. They'll install insulation, they'll caulk your windows, those kinds of things. Each county also has their own weatherization office. Some counties contract with a central group, so you might have, say in Metro Denver, they all contract with one provider. So you can apply online, and then you can get the list of companies that are servicing your county online, this website as well. And the last thing, if you are relatively low income, you can apply for the Colorado PTC 104. And we have promoted that program many, many times through various outreach avenues that we utilize. The maximum benefit this year for the PTC 104 is $1168. And that concludes my remarks at the moment for the LEAP program. And so I just spend a couple of minutes talking about society programs and what we offer. We still have the dental program, but almost all of our funds have been committed for the 25-26 year. We do not know whether it will be funded starting July 1 of 26, but they have asked us to submit a new application. We still have our Telephone Buddy program, primarily for residents of the city and county of Denver, as well as the mental health counseling. But if you live outside of Metro Denver, feel free for the Telephone Buddy program to call us, and we can probably assign someone. We do not have funding to support the mental health counseling program outside of Denver County. This is part of this session today is part of our advanced care planning series. We still do a limited amount of counseling and public referral and public benefit counseling. We have our locator on our website, which helps to provide a comprehensive listing of the housing units in Colorado, including assisted living and nursing home. We've tried very hard to get the low-income housing and retirement communities. And then we also list all of the licensed home care agencies, including home health, home care, hospice, and adult day programs. And we just finished our holiday basket program. And I believe some of you were able to take advantage of that. We are planning the Salute to Seniors for August the 22nd for 2026. Medicare Monday will happen in the fall. We're still very actively involved in housing advocacy and other public policy. There is a renter's bill that I have been asked to consult on sometime next week. So we'll see where that goes. And we certainly still do consumer and professional training. And we hope to be able to publish a senior resource guidebook in 2026. And that concludes our remarks for today. Thank you all for joining us. This information will be posted on the YouTube channel I'm not sure when, as well as I will send out the slides following this presentation. And thank you again for joining us.